I went to the Big Apple Comic-Con in New York on Saturday, and I picked up some books, including what I would call a grail. Let's see what I grabbed up next on this video from Bronzeville Comics.
I can't sell out a long shot. That's a hot book.
On the Landry Pop booth, they have some nice comic books.
Legion orders came up with somebody read that book. I'm afraid this You pull it. Yeah, I'm just a high-grade collector, so a lot of these are my lower-grade copies, so I have stuff that's like...
That's right. I'm not looking for a great copy.
Oh, you know what? I sold them. I was buying that. I sold them.
The only sell for is a little bit less, and you're lucky if you get that market. Whereas with if you're selling books,
Artists and other dealers here.
All right. Where are my two guys? Oh my God! Hobgoblin! Oh my God! Can we take a picture? Oh my God! How often do you see Hobgoblin?
Hello, panelologists. This is Jim from Bronzeville Comics coming to you with another video. We went to the Big Apple Comic-Con on Saturday. It was in New York City. I drove down. It was in the New Yorker Hotel, which, if you're at all familiar with Manhattan, it's about a block and a half away from Madison Square Garden. I parked in a lot kind of across the street from MSG, basically a block and a half walk to the hotel. So it was real simple. Obviously, I had to pay for parking, yada, yada, yada. But I went through. So Mike Carbonaro has run this show for many years, and he gets a lot of guest artists and writers and some big comic book dealers. This is it was tight in the hotel, but at least the nice thing about being in the hotel is there's a lobby there, so like there is a place like people can sit down and go, grab a little something to eat or a cup of coffee or whatever. But I the night before I'm like, okay, let me set the alarm so I can get up there and get down there around start time. I didn't need to go for the early bird special, but I set the alarm for PM rather than AM. So instead of waking up like at 8:05, I woke up at 11:11. And we had tickets to go see Wicked that evening at 6 o'clock. So my time window was kind of limited. Basically, my entire afternoon was spent traveling to and from the show and then picking up some books. But I was very happy with what I got. So first I went to MC Squared, and I keep getting influenced by doing the CGC population count videos. I picked up a couple of books that were the top books from Kamiko for their respective years that I didn't have in my PC. I'm not sure I needed them in my PC, but I do have a run of the main series for these. So I picked up Elemental Sex Special #1 and issue #2. I did flip through these. These are for adults only. Yeah, that is, but I like kind of picked up all the Elementals. This is not by Bill Willingham. This is kind of an offshoot. Now, I was told, because when I did the census count video, this was the top book from Kamiko for like 1990 or something. Yeah, what year is that? Actually, I want to put that, because these are going on the PC. Just trying to be Elementals complete. This is 91. The other one's 92. So I'm like a dolphin, but evidently the dolphin turns into a man, so that makes it okay. So yeah, not my usual genre of interest, but I figured the Elementals, it's sitting there, let me grab it. I was also looking for some potential 9/8 candidates and some other books, so I picked up this. It might need a little bit of work, I'm not sure, but I have this in a 9/8. I think I've gotten a second copy in a 9/8. I have others in the hopper. I had one. Oh, this is a great 9/8. I was just, like, the other day I was pressing and cleaning it, and I did, like, some work on the outside. I'm like, yeah, this is really clean. I think it's going to get a 9/8. And I put the back board in the middle, and then the centerfold was completely loose. So that is not a 9/8. But, yeah, we'll give it a try on this. And it's a newsstand, so that's kind of why I grabbed it. That would be awesome in a 9/8. So that goes, we talk about the 4 S's. Save, Sell, Slab, Specs. The first two are Save, PC books, and that's a slab book. This is the first full Larfleeze appearance. This is a spec book. I've gotten a few of these, not a ton. This is not quite a 9/8 candidate. I would get it graded probably otherwise. New Mutants 98 does need, or New Mutants 1, 98. That's different. This is the third full appearance of the New Mutants. Because they did appear in that special edition X-Men that reprinted Giant Size X-Men #1 with some new material, and new material included the New Mutants, but still a cool book. Does need a little bit of work. Yeah, kind of 50-50 whether we get the 9/8 even after work. So that's going in the slab pile. Swamp Thing #21. Needed this for the run, and it's in pretty nice condition. I had this when I went through and graded it myself at an 8.5. So that's a book from 1976. So that, yeah, I'm just trying to fill off that initial run. I have all the Wrightson books. I just need a few of the later issues. So that goes in the PC. And then this book, its value's fallen in 9/8, but I figured, the character's interesting enough. This is Howard the Duck #1. It's the first appearance of Gwenpool. That was a couple of years ago. That was really hot, but, figure it's worth a shot in 9/8. Now, you do have to be careful because I got confused once. There are 2 different Howard the Duck series that came out. I think this is 2015. Just the way Marvel does things. It's bizarre. So that's going in the slab pile. I picked up this. Thought it might be a 9/8 candidate. This is from Hell. This is the I actually need number 3, so I got to check with MC Squared next time I see him, because he said he has some other from Hells, but I was looking for potential 9/8. The front cover looked good, but it has been read. This is the was adapted into the movie with Johnny Depp and Heather Graham, right? 2001. I've yet to see that. I'm going to probably see that pretty soon. So that is, maybe I should read it first. So yeah, I'm just going to sell that boy off. Venom Lethal Protector number 1. I thought it looked good, but opening up it did have a couple little things, and you really can't fix much on this foil cardstock cover. And then I picked up this final issue of Mark Spector, Moon Knight, with this great black and white cover by Stephen Platt. Didn't do a lot of comic book work, but that's a good book in a 9/8. It has some ticks that do not break color, so we got to work on that, but that would be nice in a 9/8. Spam. And then I picked up the also he had just like $5 bins. I picked this up, and it's actually a 9/8 candidate. So I am going to try to get a 9/8 out of this, which is an aspirational part of my collecting. It's Weird War Tales number 34. Or Weird Western Tales with Jonah Hex. It's all Jonah Hex, just one Jonah Hex story. But I've been collecting these DC Bicentennial books. Crazy me, right? Why not get them all in a 9/8? I don't know what the biggest book that month is. I don't know if there are any big keys. Maybe Detective Comics has a minor first appearance. I should research that. But that would be fun to get 1976 9/8s. I don't know. This is a pretty clean book. It does have a, the bag is not so much. But yeah, we're going to, it does need a press and everything. But I don't think there's anything really color breaking on here. Yeah, it definitely needs some pressing. But that'll be a fun little challenge. Right? And then I picked up this. This is going in the spec pile. This is Detective Comics 351. The first appearance of the Clue Master. Kind of a Riddler wannabe. Overlooked Batman Silver Age villain first appearance. And the Clue Master actually takes on more significance. He is the father of Stephanie Brown, the spoiler, who was also Robin at one point. She was Batgirl at one point. So this book I can usually find cheap, and you never know when you'll see a particular character. I actually went through a spec box of mine recently, like, oh, I should have pulled all of those weeks ago. And I've been pulling Green Lantern books. Just to get ready for the Lantern series. This I grabbed, although somebody completely blotted out the word balloon there. First meeting of Flash and Green Lantern. And then I got a first Dr. Polaris. And this one, I think I got for a real good price. Decent shape. First Krona. First Alan Scott in Green Lantern. And basically, Krona's big part of the Crisis on Infinite Earths storyline. And also this first Evil Star. Is that Evil Star? Evil Star. So, got some cool Silver Age Green Lanterns. That's going to go in a separate sell pile. I'm just trying to get, put all my Green Lanterns together for when the show comes out, the Lanterns TV show next year. I went to another vendor. I picked up this X-Men number 4, first Omega Red. Not a big deal, but now this was like a book that was overslabbed to death during the boom, but it is a newsstand. And I think this is a pretty clean copy. Love to get a 9/8 newsstand out of that. And then I got this Masters of the Universe number 1. This is a nice clean copy. That's the second Masters of the Universe series. DC did a mini-series first, and then Marvel got the rights under the Star Comics imprint. So that has some possibility. It does need work. And then I picked this one up. And this one is a little bit of a Hail Mary, I think, for a 9/8. It does need a lot of work. But I didn't see anything in inspecting it that was color breaking. So we're going to need to break out the tack iron and all that. But it is Thundercats issue number 1 newsstand. So that's like $1,000 book in a 9.8. So we're going to give that a shot. Throw that in the... I do have another Thundercats one somewhere. I don't know where it is. That's, again, Masters Universe, Thundercats, that is 80s kids. I'm a 70s kid. That's why that... 80s kids, like the Marvel anniversary border covers. I'm a DC 70s kid, so I do the bicentennial thing. I'm old enough. I was 9 years old during the bicentennial. And, big part of my childhood. So then the last one I went to was Retro Recollectibles, Mike, or sellingcomics.com. You may have seen him on YouTube. He does with his buddy. They do a lot of CGC unboxing of like high grade books, and he is a high grade collector and a high grade dealer. So I've gotten some books from him. So I picked this up, and he had a slightly higher grade one, but the price difference was so big, and I guess it makes sense at this level. But for now, and I think I can improve this if I wanted to submit it. I didn't have a recorded that I had this book in my PC, but it's Justice League of America issue number 8. He had it a VF minus. I think that might be a little, might be right. There's that there. That's like the biggest flaw, those creases in the bottom right hand corner. But the colors on this are gorgeous, right? And basically for the price, I think that'll work for me. That goes in the PC. Then there was one more book, and I've been looking at his wall, and I'm like, it wasn't one of the books that I was hunting in this particular show. But then I was walking around. I was actually talking to a bunch of people, Bricksco Comics, Jerry Jitterbug, Lone Wolf Comics, and Street Side Anthony were set up there. So Street Side Anthony asked me about this particular book. He says, he goes, I might have to pick that up. So he kind of peer pressured me into this. So I went back to Mike's booth with Retro Recollectibles, and he actually, at the beginning of the day, because we had a long conversation earlier, the beginning of the day, he had 7 copies of this particular book, and this was the last one left. Now, unlike Pope of Chillytown, I did not get this for $5. I figure he had it at like a 6 because there is a little bit of something on the back. I'm not getting it graded right away. I don't need to because it's part of the PC. Basically, I would if I get multiple copies of this. But I don't think there's any way that this is lower than a 6. And I think it could do better. I think it could get a 7 or better with a little bit of TLC. But this is, I haven't said what it is. If you didn't recognize it, it's House of Secrets, number 92, the first appearance of the first Swamp Thing. It was a completely different Swamp Thing, and Swamp Thing number 1 by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson. One of the probably the biggest, right? The biggest DC key of the Bronze Age, at least in terms of value. And I had talked, I did a video like last year, the difference between Marvel horror and DC horror. This is one of the few DC horror characters that truly came out of the Bronze Age. Marvel's more character with Werewolf by Night and Tomb of Dracula and Morbius and so on and so forth. Man-Thing. DC was more anthology driven with House of Secrets and House of Mystery and Witching Hour and Ghosts, but Swamp Thing was one of those characters that came right out of that kind of gothic horror, right? So I think it's a beautiful copy. There's just little things. There's nothing major going on the front cover. There is a little something. I don't want to take it out. There is something on the back cover, but that is an awesome book, and that made my day. So that is it for and that's a PC book. That is going to go in the S pile of the 4 S's. So, hopefully, like if I can get let's say a 9.8 out of the Thundercats, then basically I pay for the day. That's kind of the thing. Using the hobby to pay for itself. If I can pick up some books that I could turn into 9.8s and make some money that way, and then pick up a big book and kind of break even for the day, that's all good. So I'm really happy. I'm trying to get all the major DC keys from 1970 forward, and I'm pretty much there. There might be a couple in terms of like horror covers that I don't have. And probably, if anything, it's like Weird War 1 and Ghosts 1 that I don't have post 1970. I'm trying to think of anything else that I don't have in my collection. So now I'm going to start working on the 1960s. I got a couple projects on the way. I got a lot of mail call to open up, including at least one, just in the top of my head, one major DC Silver Age key. And yeah, so that was it for Big Apple Comic Con. It was a really great show. I had not been in years. I haven't been, obviously, haven't been since I've been doing the YouTube channel. I went pre-COVID. I probably went, gosh, 15 years ago, maybe more. Before I was seriously collecting, where I pick up a few things here and there for the personal collection, without, really kind of the focus I have now. No interest in grading or anything of that nature. And not really knowing anybody in the community. So this was a lot of fun for me. I wish I had a little more time and honestly a little more cash with me. I kind of tapped out my cash in buying the House of Secrets. I was taking out like 10s and 5s because I basically had the money in my pocket from selling at the Bronx show several weeks ago. I haven't had to go to an ATM since. So anyway, that was it for the show. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a thumbs up and like and subscribe and all that good stuff. You can take a look at a couple of my other videos here. And this is Jim saying until next time, enjoy your comics.